It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie, this is Hero Wars Central, and in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about countering the marksman hero Zhu. Now, we all know very well the LOL Osh team at this point, and if you're a Hero Wars mobile player, this is the 5 heroes that every player on Hero Wars Facebook and web have to build in order to be competitive in their guild against the Osh Baby God Phase 2 fights, and indeed just about every other player versus environment activity in the game, like the campaign and the dungeon, adventures, all of those fun events that have some special fights here and there. This team, or one with a tank instead of maybe Isaac or maybe instead of Nebula, this team is amazing. It is amazing. And Zhu is a very strong marksman, but he does have some downsides. The most important of them being the fact that he is a strength-based marksman. Why is that important? Strength heroes only get 1 physical attack per strength if strength is their main stat, whereas an agility hero like Artemis gains 2 physical attack plus the bonus 3rd one if agility is the hero's main stat. So Zhu is still gaining 2 physical attack per agility, but since he's a strength hero, most of his stats are piled into strength. That's just the nature of how he is built. He is a very powerful hero, higher health, critical hit, a little bit of pure damage, hard to finish off, but his physical attack overall is much lower. And because of his use case in all of these campaign and dungeon and tower and adventures and all of that, because of his prevalence, we discussed a little while ago how these teams are the reason why you should not be leveling the twins in 2022, because this lineup with the inclusion of Isaac and Sebastian ends up countering most twins lineups. So in today's video, I want to discuss how to counter a Zhu when you see him. There's actually really easy ways to go about it, and I'm going to show you 2 really cool examples. Obviously, looking at Zhu's skills, it's going to come down to 2 things. First of all, every single one of his abilities is wrapped up in increasing his basic attack damage. He doesn't do any fun skills like extra stuns or blinds or poisons, none of that. He doesn't do anything. His ultimate makes it so that he attacks faster and cannot die. Okay, he attacks faster and cannot die. Basic attack, no additional damage, no subtraction from damage, no fun abilities. His green ability causes a little bit bonus pure damage on every single hit. So again, increasing the damage output of just his basic single attack. His blue ability is the other kind of problematic thing, increases his damage, then focuses attacks on the rearmost enemy. Okay, so still doing just basic auto attacks, single target damage. And then finally, the Spirits will heal me. If Zhu is not under control effects after the first skill is used, he gains some health. So if Zhu is not stunned or blinded or silenced or charmed or anything like that, when he uses his ultimate, he gains a little bit of a self heal. So you need to have a strong first line hero, either somebody that can dodge his attacks or that can take a bunch of really good hits, critical hits, in fact, from Zhu. And you also need a very strong backline. So let's talk about 2 fights where a strong frontline and or backline is utilized. If we take a look at this fight with the Ghost, we have a really strong Zhu here, 171k. This is definitely not the LOL Osh team, but it's still utilizing Zhu, so I thought it would be very interesting. And Mouse here is using 2 styles of counters to this and other heroes in the lineup, but specifically you're looking at a very tough frontline in Anvari and a very strong backline in Martha. So Martha is a key hero to use against Zhu. You do need to spend a little bit of health and armor investment into Martha to keep her alive, but you can see here that the basic attacks that Anvari is taking, between those and the heals and all of that, Anvari is staying up. He does die early on in this fight. He's not a tank. What can you expect? Against such raw power of Zhu, what can you expect mere human mortals to survive against such a powerful enemy? And the Zhu ults, so he starts chucking his daggers or razor blades or whatever at Martha. This will charge Martha's energy up. She can ult quite a bit. Zhu ends up not having the ability to do enough damage to Martha to kill her. And since he's not attacking the front line anymore, the rest of the team just kind of goes crazy. Now, this enemy lineup here is a more defensive lineup, and we can go into the pros and cons of this if you want. But the fact of the matter is Mouse here used Martha to kind of survive those backline hits that Zhu would throw your way. A lot of lineups may not use as tough of a backline, like a Dorian or possibly like a Lars back there. Some lineups end up having just like the squishiest mage heroes in the back, or the a squishier healer in the back, or some other kind of support. Sometimes I even find myself having faceless in the back line on my Kark lineups. So that's kind of one way to counter these Zhu teams. Another really interesting way, if you don't want to level up Martha, and a lot of people don't, is through the use of Nebula or another dodge hero. In this fight, Nebula is forced all the way to the back. We have a tank and Qingmao, Celeste, and Vari, these 4 heroes, which in their own right can survive quite the beating. Going against this lineup, this is a very similar to the LOL Osh lineup. You have Helios and Envari in here instead of Nebula and Martha. So not exactly the LOL Osh team, but again, we're dealing with countering a Zhu lineup. So let's quickly watch this fight. And again, you're going to see a situation where you have to have a hero that can survive the hits up front, and a well-leveled Corvus can absolutely handle Zhu's damage output, as well as, you know, Sebastian and Vari, all of that. And then you need to have a hero that can somehow mitigate that damage in the back line when Zhu ults. So in just a second, we're going to see Zhu use his ultimate. Well, actually, we're a little ways off. Another good way to counter Zhu is to kill him before he ults and shreds your back line. Maybe we end up killing this enemy lineup before Zhu even gets a chance to ultimate. But you can see that, there you go. Nebula was being attacked by Zhu there for a second, and yep, see, there she goes. She took a big hit, but she does have quite a bit of dodge, and she will end up surviving this fight just on the merit of her dodge skill. Of course, you have Celeste keeping her alive. She hasn't gotten a heal. Okay, there you go. I think she just got a heal from Celeste right there. A Nebula boosted heal, by the way. Do we have enough power here to kill that Zhu before he goes and starts attacking the backline again? Okay, so Nebula got pushed forward somehow, which means the enemy Zhu is now targeting Celeste. Kind of a bad situation there. Yep, and so she died because Nebula was standing in front of Celeste. Celeste is a much squishier hero, but now the enemy Zhu is tanking, and there you go. So just kind of show you this matchup again. The way to counter Zhu in this lineup was to use a hero that can mitigate that damage or block and recover that damage. In this case, Nebula has the ability to dodge physical attacks. So unless Zhu gets really lucky in landing those hits, he's not going to have a consistent way to kill the Nebula, which means the 4th slot hero, in this instance it was Celeste, would not ever be exposed. Now, if you don't have a strong enough Martha, a strong Zhu will kill your Martha immediately and then start shredding your backline all the way through. Now, if you don't have a strong enough Martha, then you're going to struggle against Zhu lineups. I was trying to use Martha in this instance to kind of survive against the Zhu, but you can see this 178k, 178,000 power level Zhu versus my lowly 94k. I did have Axel on there for some help, but Popin or Popin or however you pronounce it, just kind of crushed me. Took out my Martha very quickly, and then proceeded to kill Faceless in the next hit, and then Iris in the hit after that, and then at that point the fight is over. So again, my Astaroth is staying alive against this onslaught of Zhu damage. I got some good heals here from Martha, keeping him alive. I got Axel trying to help, protect. But here in just a second, Zhu is going to start shucking his daggers or whatever at the back line, and my Martha is just going to get blown up real fast. Oh, there we go. Martha is dead, and then Faceless died while Martha was being revived. Then Iris died, and then the Martha died, and then my Kark died, and my Astaroth died, and there we go. So you do need a strong enough Martha, right? 94k versus 178k wasn't really enough, wasn't strong enough at all. So yeah, if you are building the LOL Osh team, then one of the best ways to counter the enemy Zhu that is attacking you, or that you're defending, you're trying to attack, is to either push your Nebula to the back, or another dodge hero to the back, or have your Martha be in the back and survive those hits. On screen now, I've got that how to counter the twins video using the basic LOL Osh team, and I also have a video on screen now about how to counter Dante. Part 2 of how to counter Dante is coming soon. Check those videos out if you are struggling with those hero lineups. I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.